Hi, everyone. So we are live today for another Sinay product demo. Thank you very much for being with us today. I imagine that it is 10:02 Central European Time, so I guess we can just get started right away. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we're going to do a product demo that is more focused on Sinay's environmental modules. I don't know if you tuned in last week, but last week we did a product demo on our estimated time of arrival predictions, which you can check out right after this one. It's available on our YouTube channel. So yeah, let's dive right in. For most of you that are connected today, I imagine that you have already created your account on our Sinay Hub. So let me just share my screen so we can get started. Please let me know if you can hear me correctly, correctly. I have my comments open. I have my colleague Muad, who is here with us, who is monitoring our comment section. So please feel free to use the chat, and any questions we will get to either at the end of the demo or during, depending on the question. Okay, so let me share my screen. Let me just configure this. Oops, sorry for the multi imagery. So as I was saying, most of you have probably already created your account on the Sinay Hub. If you have not, I encourage you to do so. It's completely free. I will obviously be sending out all of the links following this demo, so you can create your account and then check out our different environmental modules and the rest of our solutions on the Sinay Hub. So before I get started into the demo, just a quick background on Sinay as always. So Sinay, as you can hear, is a French-based maritime digitalization company, which was founded in 2008 with a strong focus on environmental monitoring and logistics optimization through a better understanding of data. So we are a big data maritime service provider, which allows maritime companies, whether it's on port side or shipping side or environmental institutions, essentially any company, organization that has a link to the maritime ecosystem and that wants to become smarter, more efficient, and more sustainable. We cater to all of those different actors by providing digital solutions that are backed by artificial intelligence and machine learning that allow basically all of these actors to have a better understanding of their data and to become smarter. So without any delay, let me dive right into our environmental solutions that are offered within the Sinay Hub. So I'm going to show you, as you can see here on my screen. So this is the homepage of the Sinay Hub. So when you create your account, you'll arrive here. For those of you who have an account, please feel free to tag along and do the demo alongside with us. So to this day, we do have 2 environmental modules that are available to use in their standard version on the Sinay Hub, focusing on air quality and water quality. If you click here on all modules, you'll also see that we have different applications that are not available to use as of now in their standard version within the Sinay Hub just yet, but they are available to use as part of our professional services. So if you're interested in these, please let me know and I'll be happy to provide more documentation. But for today, we'll be focusing on these 2 modules, which are air quality monitoring and water quality monitoring. So essentially, the way that these work is obviously, as you know, through the growing maritime traffic and there are issues that are growing as well, namely port congestion. And obviously, maritime traffic and port congestion cause environmental pollution, namely air quality pollution and water quality pollution. Now, these are 2 factors that are obviously can cause harm to the surrounding areas, because obviously ports are oftentimes encompassed in city areas, in big cities. And so obviously for the citizens and people who live within these areas, having clear and clean air to breathe is obviously a very high health concern. And as far as water quality goes, obviously, through the coming and going of different ships, obviously, with the emission of fuels and greenhouse gas emissions, that can cause also some damage to water quality. So it's very important to monitor these two parameters. I know that the World Health Organization has also released some guidelines as to what the standard levels should be. So let me just get started. So basically, if we open up the air quality module here, you will arrive on, so this is my account. So I've already created my air quality monitoring projects for a number of locations, but also some just to test. So as you can see here, basically our goal is to provide an interface that is very intuitive and easy to use to basically make this air quality and water quality data and indicators more easily accessible to a larger public. Because one thing that we've noticed is that oftentimes these specific tools or environmental monitoring is something that is done in a very by a very limited number of people, namely an environmental department, and oftentimes it's not easy to have access to this data in real time. So basically the way it's work, it's very simple. So if we just call it demo project here, obviously you can name it whatever you want, and then you have to locate your project on the map here. So by default, the map is centered on France because I'm located in France, but obviously you can create a project anywhere worldwide. So for instance, if you zoom into a specific location, for instance, if we go to the northern part of France here, you can find a port here. You can also find the address here, or you can use current location, which, as you can see here, we are in Normandy in Caen. Let me just zoom out and actually get to a port. Okay, so you've identified a port here. So actually, let me go back to Saint-Malo. You can find your location, and then once you've defined the area that you want to do the environmental monitoring on, you select the little square here and select the area. This is also something that you can define by entering the actual latitude and longitude of the project. Click next. And then here, basically, you can position any type of sensor or hardware or IoT device you have. So here, this is just an example of one sensor provider that is pre-connected to the Sinay hub, but obviously you can select any other type. You can call it sensor 1, for example. You can select the sensor type. So I'm selecting here the brand of the sensor that I use, which is our partner Ecomesure. You can confirm the latitude and longitude of the project. Click confirm, and then you can position as many sensors you have to enhance measuring points. Next, you can select here the connectivity type. So for our demo here today, I'm going to click on demo. And then here, this is the most important part actually, is you can select basically the parameters that you want to measure. And so obviously, depending on the sensor that you select, these parameters will adapt. And this is the most important part. You can define the threshold at which you want to be alerted, because obviously, this tool is designed not only to be able to have this real-time information of environmental levels, of air quality or water quality levels, but also to be used proactively in the sense that according to the alert levels, the thresholds that you define here, you will be alerted via email whenever there's a pollution incident based on these thresholds. So for example, if I want to measure all of these parameters, I can select here, and then here, depending on your the thresholds levels, you can define 1 or 2 levels of alerts depending on basically the decisions that you want to be able to make. So basically, if we can select here and then define the duration of hours. So basically, duration in hours means how many hours does this threshold need to be reached before receiving an alert. And if you don't want to receive any alerts, you can also just leave these blank and you will just access the dashboards. So this, you can confirm your project creation with a recap of information. You can click on create. And then once this is done charging, you will be able to access your actually live data coming from the hardware sensors that you've selected. So mine is still charging because since I'm also streaming, I guess, and sharing my screen, my internet is being a little bit slow. So if this, okay, here we go. It's charged. And here you go. Here you have it. You have your demo project. And then if you click in this, basically you'll have all of the parameters that you wanted to follow are here with the corresponding alerts levels that are indicated here. So as you can see here, for example, for NO2, I have an alert, a second threshold exceeded. And you can access here a graph that allows you to visualize in a very easy manner each parameter that you wanted to measure. You can filter the view on either events on the last 6 hours or last 24 hours. And very importantly, you can also see the history of all the data that has gone through within the past since you can select the range of the period you want to monitor specifically. And very importantly, you can also, there is a built-in reporting tool that is done here that is integrated within the module. And this will allow you to basically export relevant data that you want to monitor closely, and this basically enhances the collaborative aspects of environmental monitoring, because obviously once you've downloaded your file, you can then share it with any relevant stakeholders. So just to give you a little bit more background as to what type of maritime stakeholder uses this tool, mostly we have a strong base of seaports that are located within basically a city surrounding it very closely, because as I've mentioned before, since this environmental pollution is a growing health concern for people who are living close by these areas, obviously it's important for the ports to be able to share that they are doing the best that they can to monitor these pollution events and reassure the population that is living within these areas. So I guess I can show you how the water quality monitoring project works. As you can see, it's fairly similar, because so just to go back, basically you can access all of these modules either from the modules tab of the homepage of the Sinay hub, or you can go straight from home here, water quality, and then so you can open the module. And then very similarly, as you can see, you have the list of all your projects here, and you can create a new project. And basically the way that the water quality monitoring works is in the same manner. You have a very simple and intuitive project creation path, so journey. And then once you've essentially once you've created all of, so I won't go through the trouble of doing this all, because you've seen me do it for the air quality monitoring, and it's exactly the same steps. So confirm, and then I can show you basically the data and the dashboard. As you can see here, basically it will be the same type of interface, simply with different parameters, because obviously between water quality monitoring and air quality monitoring, you're not measuring the same parameters, and the alert thresholds aren't the same as either. But the idea is the same, is to have an intuitive, easy to visualize data that is restituted not only in its raw format, but that it's intelligent data, because you have basically in just a quick view, you can see if there is basically an alert, a pollution incident or no. And you can also be alerted. You can report all of this data and download any graphs, any history of alerts. And that also obviously provides a lot of value to you to excuse me our so we're in a conference room and someone just tried to enter. So yeah, just as I was saying, this is highly valuable data, a highly valuable dashboard, because it's, first of all, very intuitive to use. It's useful information that can be shared with all relevant stakeholders, whether you're wanting to do environmental monitoring in throughout a long period of time, whether you want this to be a permanent installation within your seaport, for example, or whether you're looking to monitor specific environmental parameters during a specific period of time. For instance, we do have clients that use our solution because they're undergoing extension work within the seaport, and they want to make sure that the extension works are specifically being monitored, because they want to make sure that they're complying with the local regulation. So there's a variety of use cases that can apply to environmental monitoring. Obviously, as you know, environmental concerns are growing, and it's more and more important. And obviously, compliance-wise, you need to be able to make sure that you're doing the most to both monitor the environmental parameters, the environmental impact of your activity within your local area, but also most likely everyone will be requested to comply with regulations very soon, depending on, obviously, on the region of the world that you're in currently. It can already be in place or will be in place very soon. So yes, this is basically a very quick overview of the environmental monitoring modules. Just to be, because I see that time is running by, something that we can also offer as part of our professional services is basically the ability to basically cross environmental monitoring. It's not something that is available in its standard way just yet. However, if you have a specific projects where you want to be able to monitor different types of parameters at once, we are also able to provide that as part of our professional services. So as you can see here, we have a specific client which is monitoring water quality, acoustics, and air quality, all within the same dashboard. With also added weather data. So it's also something that we can do and that could probably be of interest to you. So that's it for my demo. Let me stop sharing my screen. And if you have any specific questions, obviously, I would be happy to answer them. I know that in the past, questions that we have received are what basically, if you don't have sensors or environmental measuring equipment already in place, can you use these modules? The answer is yes, you can. We do have a strong ecosystem of hardware providers that are our partners and that are compatible with the Sinay Hub. So if you're interested in basically having the list of the equipment that you can use that are already compatible with our Sinay Hub, I would be happy to provide that list. I know that it's information that is available on our partners website, I believe, which I will also be linking in my email that I will do following this webinar or this demo, I guess. If you are located in if you're looking to do environmental monitoring in an area that is not on land, because I know that is some of our prospects and clients do have that use case, is, for instance, if you are conducting fishing activities offshore, you want to be able to monitor that specific area, even though it's not on land, so you don't necessarily have the ability to install a physical sensor. It's also something that we can do because we do have access to a large number of databases that provide, for example, weather data, but also meta-ocean data. So basically anything regarding tide, altimetry, and other parameters such as those, we can monitor and restitute in a dashboard. So yeah, basically, while the air quality and water quality modules that are hosted in our Sinay hub are accessible and can answer a very standard need and are very useful and very affordable as well, we are able to go further than those if you have a specific project. So please feel free to email me directly. As you can see here, my email is on the screen. So yeah, I guess that's it for today's demo. If you have any questions following this, please feel free to email me. I will be sending out the replay to this product demo very soon. Yeah, and in the meantime, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will be seeing you again next week. Bye.